Hi, my name is Jacob Freers and I'm an AMGA Apprentice Rock Guide. Today we're going to talk about how to clean 2-bolt anchors. In this video we're going to go over 2 different ways to clean using 3 different cleaning tools. Before we get into that though, I do want to address something very quick, which is something that a lot of people debate on anchor cleaning. That debate and that topic is the idea of being lowered by your belayer through the rings versus actually rappelling off of the route. In single pitch environments, so you're going up and you're coming right back down, the AMGA, the American Alpine Club, the Arkansas Climbers Coalition, 90% of route developers you talk to are going to tell you to be lowered by your belayer. There's 2 main reasons for that. One, you're staying in the same system the whole time. You're not switching from one system to a new one, which really lowers your margin for error if you stay in the one system. 2, this gear is replaceable. You are not replaceable. It is safer and more efficient to use the gear as long as you're using it in the correct way. If you feel bad about the wear and tear that is used on these anchors when you're rappelling, join your local climbers coalition. They go out and they replace anchors all the time. If you don't have a local climbers coalition, find a route developer and give them 40 bucks. Just something that's going to show that you are putting effort into making sure we maintain our equipment. So real quick, I want to go over what tools I use to clean anchors. There are quite literally hundreds of different tools that you could use to build some sort of personal anchor. I'm just going to show you the 3 that I use the most. The first is going to be a locker draw. This is something that I've really started to love the last couple of years. It's extremely easy to use, it's very fast, it's very efficient, and it's multifunctional. The next would be 2 quick draws, opposite and opposed. So I would be able to come up, clip both of those quick draws to my belay loop, and then clip both of those quick draws into the master point as well. So again, everything is all opposite and opposed. This basically is a makeshift locker draw. So something that's really great, something that if you're sport climbing, you're gonna have extra quick draws with you. And then the third thing I want to show is a Petzl Connect Adjust, which is a dedicated personal anchor setup. It's a really great system. It's going to make your life very easy and very comfortable. I don't use it very often just because it is a single-use item. I can't really use it for anything else other than cleaning anchors, but still really great if you're going to be doing a lot of cleaning. So now for the actual cleaning of the anchor. The first thing I do before I'm up at the top of my climb, before I'm really doing anything, is I want to make sure I have a plan. That me and my belayer are on the same page, that they know that they're going to be lowering me back to the ground, and that we've communicated that before every single climb. A big part of that is the words you choose to use and not to use. Words like off belay is not a word I use if I'm going to be lowered. So I use words like take and slack, are really 2 of the main words I use when I'm talking with my belayer. When there's 60 feet in between you, there can be a lot of miscommunication, so you want to limit that as much as possible. So for this anchor, we're going to say that I just got to the top of my climb and that I have decided to use a locker draw and a spare locker for this specific cleaning. This is probably the system I use the most right now. It's really fast, it's really efficient. You can just kind of store them together like that on the back of your harness. It's really great. So I get to the top of my climb, and the first thing I'm going to do is, if they haven't already, I'm going to have my belayer take me so I can rest, go hands-free, kind of look at my situation. And then I want to be able to take the weight off of this rope so I can use it to clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my personal tether. This time I'm using a locker draw. I'm going to clip it to my belay loop and then find the master point of whatever anchor I'm using. So for this anchor, it's going to be right here. So now I am able to double check my setup and double check and make sure I have anything correct. These are locked. This is a correct master point. And then I can look down at my belayer and say slack. I did not say off belay because I still need them to lower me back to the ground. So all I've said to them so far is take and slack. That's it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the method called the pinch and pull through method, which is a method preferred by the AMGA, the American Alpine Club. It's the preferred method for cleaning anchors because, again, you stay in the system the whole time. So I'm going to reach down to my figure 8 tie-in. I'm going to pull a bight or a strand of rope. I'm going to pinch it and pull it through these 2 rings that are attached to my bolt anchor. These are 2 large rings that have plenty of room for multiple pieces in them. So I pinch and pull through, and now I have this loop down here. You want to make sure it goes down to about your belay loop. And then I can take this loop and then tie either an overhand knot or a figure 8 on a bight. One of those 2 is perfectly fine. I'll take that new loop, that new bight, and that spare locker I had, and clip them to my belay loop. So now I can pause, I can re-look at everything I've done here, and make sure that when I pinched and pulled through, I actually went through both rings up here. I want to double check that. Now that I've double checked that and I've double checked my locker, I can go back to my original figure 8 and untie that. I'm still safe because I'm attached with my locker jaw to the anchor, and this new locker is taking the place of my old figure 8. I'll take that, pull that tail through. You'll have a big long tail here. You can just kind of throw it down. And then I can look at my whole anchor system and again double check, and then I will even check it even further by going down, yelling down my belayer, take, and they will be able to take me on this new system. So now all my weight is on this new locker. And then now that I've weighted the new system, now I can get rid of my old anchor and then just get lowered back to the ground. For this second anchor cleaning technique, we're going to be running into a slightly different anchor. So instead of having large rings on our bolts, it's going to be skinnier chains. So the reason that switches things up a little bit is because now I need to thread the end of my rope through instead of pinching and pulling through like we did last time. So let's get this set up. Same scenario, I'm top roping my climb, I get to the top, I can ask my belayer to take, and then I can comfortably look at my situation and figure out what I'm going to do. For this anchor, I'm going to use the Petzl Connect Adjust and a spare locker. And so the same way, I've already got this on my harness. I'm going to find a master point and clip into that master point and get myself in a comfortable position. So now I'm here, I've got my whole setup, I'm locked in. I can now call for slack. Remember, slack, not off belay. And I'm going to pull from my figure 8, and instead of pinching, I'm going to go ahead and pull and then already tie that knot now. I will then take that knot and my spare locker and clip it to my belay loop. So that would now end up the end of my rope, which I need to fit through the skinnier chains. So I've double checked everything, double checked here, I'm good to go. I've still only said take and slack to my belayer, so I've clearly communicated what I needed. I'm now going to untie and free up the end of this rope, thread it through these skinnier chains, and then retie my figure 8. I still have my body weight on my Connect Adjust here, and that is what's actually holding me up right now, even though I'm still in my belayer system. So now I'm here, I've retied my figure 8. I'm going to stop again, double check this figure 8, make sure it's tied correctly. Make sure it's actually going through both chain links. And now I can undo this spare locker. So I'll undo that, clip it back on. Make sure you untie that bite knot. Feed the rest through the anchor. I've double checked, and again, we're gonna check it with our body weight before we clean everything off. I'm gonna say to take, my belayer will take me. I'm on this new system, it frees up my anchor. So all I need to do now is clean that up and tell them to lower. Those are the two main ways that I will be cleaning my 2-bolt anchors all over the United States. A big thing to think about is when we are being lowered off of our route, we want to make sure that only the last climber is the one who's actually being lowered through the permanent gear. Make sure you use your own equipment for everybody else that's top roping. If you are interested in learning when and how to rappel, we will have a how to rappel video on this exact same channel, so make sure you go check that out. The last thing, like I always say, you've got to practice these things. It takes a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of hands-on practice. These bolts right here, we're at Lincoln Lake in Lincoln, Arkansas. These are at chest height, so you can come out here and practice. They will also have those at Horseshoe Canyon Ranch in Jasper, Arkansas. Just make sure you're giving yourself plenty of time and having lots of patience with you and your partners.